Hey, just talk about Singfield a little bit. We've kind of mostly focused on Pat all year. You found him in the portal. What's about him?
Love him. He's one of the toughest kids on the team. He's got one of the best attitudes on the team. I can't say enough about the kid. I mean that, Rich. He's got to be – he's a special one. He's another guy that whatever he chooses to do in life, whether it's going to play in the NFL or do something else, he's going to crush it just because he's made of the right stuff. I think he's going to get more and more carries and he'll get more involved. He's got a lot of juice to him. You can see that when he goes in the game. And he runs hard, really hard. I'm glad he's here. And like I said, I can't say enough great things about him.
Just a quick follow. Today was passing day. How did your quote quarterbacks look today?
I like how you put that in quotes. That's a good job, Rich. I thought the offense did a really nice job. I thought we threw the ball really well. We caught the ball well. I went down there and watched some of the offense today too, and guys were working really hard. So they did a good job.
We'll go next to Andy.
Jeff, third down offensively was a strong point for you guys early in the season, but since ACC play started, it's drifting down below 30% conversion rate. What do you see as a problem there, and what can you do to get better in that regard?
I think we got to coach it better, and then we got to execute the plan better. Starts with the protection, then the quarterback, and then we got to catch the ball. I think there are plays to be made, and I think we worked hard this week to put our guys in good positions. It's just about execution. I do believe that, and it's in all phases. I'm not going to pin that on one group. On offense, you got to put it all together, man. You got to protect, you got to throw it on time, you got to catch it, and you got to finish. And then you got to have a great plan. So it's coaching and playing, and I'm confident that it will get better. And Andy, I can always rely on you. You always know all the stats. I should have you send me a report each week so I can get ahead of your questions.
I got you.
We'll go next to Trevor.
Hey, Jeff, sorry to keep asking about the quarterback situation. It's the last one for me, but just curious, how much of it was based on Syracuse specifically and the way they play? How much of it was based on the season as a whole, big picture versus small picture?
None was based on Syracuse. It's just about what gives us the best chance this week to win the game.
We'll go to Emma.
Coach, Syracuse has been on the losing end of some really close games this year, and they won a big ACC game, in a close game last weekend. How do you imagine that'll factor into their gameplay this weekend?
Confident team. I think they were less than a field goal away in all three of their losses, right? So they should be confident regardless. They're playing at a high level. They believe in themselves. So I'm sure they'll come out with a ton of energy.
Go to Kevin.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good, man.
So we talked a lot about the environment going into Death Valley. You guys had the speakers blaring all week. You went to the Dome last year, but it was dead silent. It's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. How are you guys preparing, for noise and stuff this week, and maybe even more so because it's a Dome?
Well, yeah, we would expect a really good crowd. I mean, they're playing well. I've been there in the past, whether 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, when I was in the old Big East, and I was there for some really loud games. Shoot, I remember as a young coach, I got some good stories from Kev. I was sitting up, their booth is you guys, have you ever been there before? You've been to the Dome, right? Last year, yeah, that was eerie. So you got to kind of walk up the stairs. You go in this big elevator, then you go up through the stairs, and it was packed. I mean, fans are yelling at you, throwing beer at you. And then you're sitting in a booth that's the fans almost have access to because, there's no press box up there. So I was with Matt Cavanaugh. He was the offensive coordinator. That's who I remember sitting next to in the booth when I was at Pitt. And this guy had a pizza box, and he kept holding it up in front of us, and we couldn't see. And he was writing message on it, you guys, blank, blank, blank. And he was holding it up, and they were pounding on it. And I was like, what are we doing? We can't see. They're holding pizza boxes out in front of us. So you just brought back some memories there. So sorry to go off on a tangent. I anticipate it to be very loud. Like I said, I'd be shocked if it wasn't a packed house, right? So you got to prepare the best we can and try to make it loud in practice, especially on third down. So we're doing that as well.
Just as a quick follow-up too, you guys never really play in a dome. Is it different getting, adjusted to dome noise compared to out noise?
Well, we practice inside, so I think that's as close as we can do by blaring the music in our indoor, you know. So, but we don't have a dome, so we can't simulate it. But it is loud in the dome because it kind of echoes, even when it's not packed. It's loud, you know. And there'll be music blaring, and I'm sure that will echo as well.
We'll go next to Dan.
Coach, I actually wanted to ask you about that era of the Big East, because that's kind of a lost time period for BC after they left for the ACC. I mean, the Big East was so different back then even. So I was curious, you know, what was your recollection of those Syracuse teams? And, you know, now that BC Syracuse, you've gotten a taste of the rivalry on this end, you know, what's kind of your perspective of that Northeast, you know, culture?
That was always a tough game, you know. My 5 years at Pitt, my 1 year at Rutgers. You go up to the Dome. That was a tough, well-coached, bunch of tough guys. And it was always a battle. It was always a close game. That's what I think of when I think of Syracuse. And, you know, even growing up in the Northeast, you know, McNabb and all those guys, when Coach P was out there. And, I mean, they had a lot of good teams. I remember as a young kid, I mean, watching Syracuse play. I have a lot of respect for them and the way they've always played football. But that old Big East was a good conference. It was a really good conference. A lot of competitive games.
We'll go to Rich.
Hey, Coach, I know this is more Frank's problem than yours, but in ACC play, they have the second best pass defense in the ACC. Just do you actually look at their pass defense and help the offense out from your understanding of the secondary?
I do sometimes, yeah. I've taken a good look this week. I think it starts for them up front. I think their nose is a really good player. Their end or backer, number 7, is a really good player. And I think they do a good job. I think their coordinator does a good job of mixing it up. You know, they do a lot of odd fronts. They'll bring edge pressure. They'll bring inside pressure. They'll twist a lot. They try to cause a lot of chaos. Number 8's a really good corner. Number 8's a really good corner. He's got great feet. He accelerates. He can break on balls. He can press. He can play the ball down the field. I've studied their defense quite hard this week, Rich. I think it's a combination of good players and pretty aggressive scheme in the pass game. I know they have a lot of sacks. So sacks, you tie in rush plus coverage. They have a lot of sacks, which leads to good pass defense. I think in the Albany game, they had 11 sacks. So they've gotten after the quarterback.
We'll go back to Emma.
Coach, this will be the second week in a row that you guys are facing a true quick dual threat quarterback. Last week, Schrader had 236 yards through the air and 174 yards on the ground leading the team. How do you adjust this week to better cover that quick and elusive quarterback like that?
I think Tim's done a good job. I thought he did a good job last week. We need to execute. We need to tackle. We need to run to the ball. And when we're there, we got to finish.
We'll go back to Andy.
Another point on Syracuse's defense. What has jumped out to you about their linebacking core? I know it's one of the better in the ACC. What sticks out to you when you look at that group?
I think it's scheme plus skill. Like I said, they're very aggressive. Those backers are pressuring constantly, which gets them around the ball, which gets them a lot of tackles, which creates a lot of sacks. And they play really 3 down guys. So you can call them outside backers or you can call them defensive ends. But they're aggressive. And, I think the scheme helps them, but they're good players.
And looks like our final question will be with Dan.
Coach, I feel like another nose 3 down front. I feel like the 3 down front seems to be everywhere. I don't ever remember it being this prevalent. Kind of how is that taken shape? Why is that taking shape? Like from your perspective on, when that started to become a real thing.
I'm not sure when I've been around, when I was with the Browns, we played a 3 down front. Back in some colleges, we played a 3 down front. So I'm not sure where it's come and gone. I think with how spread out teams are nowadays, people are trying to get more people on their feet. I think with how you have to play the game in space, they're trying to get more athletes on their feet. And when you play 3 down, you either play 2 big outside backers or you play more fast guys, right? I mean, if you guys notice on 3rd down, we get into a lot of 3 down stuff and bring in more athletes. If you guys have noticed on 1st and 2nd down this year, we've gotten in some 3 down fronts and brought in another linebacker. So the way I look at it is, who are you defending? Do you want to defend more of the spread and get more people on their feet to play in space? Then the other thing I think you have to look closely at is, what do you have? Do you inherit a team with more D linemen or more linebacker / athletes? Where are you with injuries? I think that all plays into it. But I think there's a place for both. And I think you'll see us play some more 3 down this year, as we continue to evolve as well.
That'll wrap things up for today. Thank you very much, Jeff. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. Have a good day. Have a good rest of your week.